hello. I'm from a place called Vertigo. You too. Me too.
Is that who sings that?
I think, right?
I honestly don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah, Vertigo sings You Too.
I don't really know U2's catalog.
You've never done like Joshua Tree or any of that?
I know.
Damn, man.
Even when they put that album on
that everybody
all of
had
our phones
that nobody wanted.
I never listened to it.
Yeah. Well, this is from their album How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, which step one, be careful.
Is that the first song?
No. No, it is not.
It would be
the first
really
song.
That's a good idea if you did every single song as a step
Yeah.
to dismantling
Yeah.
a bomb.
But then you don't want to just give that away on Spotify.
Right.
You want to, that feels like classified information.
Feels like you probably pay a lot. You're going to put a lot of robots out of work if you just start giving that
feels
info
like
away.
Bono shouldn't have that information. I know he gives a lot, but Jesus. Ugh. Well, TJ, here we are.
How are you doing, Shane?
I'm okay. You know, I've been trying to stay hydrated. There's a little bit of illness going around my apartment right now. And
shout out whoever else is in your apartment.
shout out the one other person who could possibly be sick. And I think, staying hydrated is key. So I'm trying my best. I was looking up different colors of urination today and what's the healthiest to have and what's the least healthy. Clear, not healthy because you're overhydrated.
Oh.
The ideal color range for your piss is between lemonade and a light lager.
You should have the you got to have the colors printed out, put them in the bathroom.
Now, I don't
so
know.
that you can fact check. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the paint strips when you go to Sherman-Williams.
I don't know if I like this, but that one, I don't know what to do though because mine kind of looks like Dijon mustard. So
Dijon's
it's speckled. It's
speckled.
See a doctor. See a doctor.
Oh man,
We got another nightcast.
Another
not too
nightcast.
late, but it's definitely dark outside.
Doing it here on a Wednesday night.
Beautiful Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
It is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Before I go to work.
Yeah. We're cranking it in. We gotta drew it up. We can't not watch
Nothing
this
like
show.
this is my morning. My morning drew. My brew. I'm drinking coffee. My morning brew with my morning drew.
Brew and Drew. There you go. A lot of guys rise and grind. You brew and Drew.
We got
two new eps here.
2 new eps. Season 3, episode 8.
We're going through, man. There's like 28 or 30
Honestly,
episodes of this season.
After that last episode, we were talking with David and Tommy.
Yes.
It made me really realize, wow, we really are doing the thing. Because
Well,
even they were like, holy shit. Like,
that's a lot of show that you've watched.
A lot of this show.
This is the 30th episode of the podcast. The 30th
crazy.
hour we have
There's
spent.
at least 30 hours of us talking about Drew Carey.
It would take you more than a day to catch up with where we are on this podcast right now.
Yeah. Not that you need to. You can listen any place
Wherever you want.
Just jump in.
Yeah.
There's no through plot line.
The
here
water's
for us.
fine wherever you get in. There's really no. But yeah, no, we're on season 3, episode 8 and 9. The Dog and Pony Show, and then Drew's brother.
Yeah,
whole lot going on in these.
These ones, like they weren't as. There was some about the Batmobile one that felt magical.
Yeah.
These ones just felt like kind of problematic.
Yeah, definitely dated,
Dated
for
at
both of
least.
them, I think. Yeah.
Not necessarily a problem. I don't know. It is just definitely dated.
It's of an era,
Yeah.
I think, for both. Literally, both of them had issues where I was like, Jesus Christ, this is what we're doing?
Well, and especially on the heels of our last podcast episode where we
Yes.
talked a little bit about.
Yes, David had an issue with the Batman and Robin costume dressing of the guy, and then the
and
dressing
it's not
down
even
of them.
And it's just this constant like, is he gay? Is he not gay? He's weird. Something's off here. And like, and then also the how it just so obviously is like written by men for men.
Absolutely.
It feels like.
Sure. As I think a lot of things in the 90s were.
Yeah.
And I'll even say, and I will say it now safely, that he's back in the city of Chicago. When David, I was like, I don't really know if that's a fair criticism for this. I do think now that I've watched both of these, I'm like, I can see. I think he might have been onto something.
Yes.
So I apologize for ever doubting. But yeah, we start with the dog and pony show. So we got Oswald in the office being a little too clingy.
Yeah, he's coming in with a human heart, he says.
Yeah,
he's carrying a cooler. It's like a little one of those little Playmate coolers.
Yeah.
With a human heart he was supposed to drop off at the hospital.
For Global Parcel, he's obviously, working.
Yeah.
And he said it reminded him of his sweetheart. Because it's on ice, I guess that makes it, or I don't know, just maybe I'm thinking too much about the sweet part. I was like, yeah.
I think we're giving him too much credit for making these sorts of connections.
True.
But anyway, he comes in and he's like, "Oh, I brought you a heart because it reminded me." And Kate's like, "Ew," naturally, but
then also like, "Holy shit, you got to get that where it's got to go."
But turns out it was just her lunch. But the heart was in there. He just gets to keep the cooler once it's delivered. So that's a sweet deal.
I was gonna say that's actually a pretty nice bargain. That you'd think they
can't find better coolers though.
Yeah, well, the hospitals have better coolers. That's why he's just supposed to be fast with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's not. They're gonna give him the good cooler. He's just a delivery guy.
I've had those. I have one of those.
You have
coolers.
one in your closet.
They leak all the time. They are not very. They're good. They keep something cold for maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah,
that's it.
I think if you're delivering a human heart, if it's over an hour and a half, you fucked up.
Yeah.
You need that real quick.
We're not even doing hearts anymore. We're using pig kidneys and shit
for heart transplants.
Yeah,
the pig's kidney can act as a heart.
Yeah, they're taking pig organs now at NYU. Shout out NYU Langone. They're doing these crazy surgeries where they're using pig organs. I think it's a pig kidney.
Yeah,
as a human heart. As in, involved in a human heart transplant.
Jesus.
And I'm pretty sure, the first few people died from complications after it, so I'm sorry. But there is someone successfully living off of this surgery in Alabama.
Wow.
So, big steps.
Yeah.
I forget why we're doing it. Well, obviously there's a shortage of human organs to...
Is there a shortage of human organs?
I guess.
I don't know if there are.
I did say obviously, it's just a matter of fact.
Well, as you've read in the New Yorker,
as you all scrolled on your TikTok and saw, there's a shortage of human organs.
I mean, I don't know. People are dying every day.
There's a lot of people though on waiting lists for organs.
Sure.
So I guess this is they're trying to fix it.
We're gonna use the pigs.
We're gonna use the part of the pig we don't eat. We're gonna put in your heart.
You could use that for Scrapple. I would eat the pig kidney in a piece of Scrapple.
I'm sure we have.
Yes. Wow.
Anyway,
we get Mr. Wick. I'm flabbergasted. I still can't believe we're using pig kidneys. Anyway. Mr. Wick comes in, and Mimi comes in as well, and we're introduced to a dog. She's walking a dog for Mr. Wick. It's this Hungarian pulley, which I was not familiar with as
I don't know breed. I don't know this dog. Is it like a poodle?
It's some kind of
hybrid.
It's like you know what? bowwowmeow.com does not list if it's a Hungarian herding and livestock guarding dog. It doesn't say where it comes from, but it's basically it's got dreads. It's really tightly knit.
Spread it clearly looks like one of those Westminster kennel dog shows.
Exactly. That you're
dogs.
look at how beautiful it looks when it's.
And we even come to find out it is like a breeding dog.
Right. It's a show dog.
It's a show dog.
It's Mrs. Lauder's show dog specifically.
Yeah.
Mr. Wick assigned Mimi to it, but it's not his dog. It's his burden, basically.
Yeah.
So Mimi took it out on a walk, did not get any of its shit. She left a map with the 5 different times it took a shit. And they decided they're going to give that to Drew. Drew, we learn, is not in the office today. He was sent to Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah. That way, he's speaking at some conference, but Wick he didn't. He want. It's like his way of like getting rid of one of his sick days.
Yeah, he's basically charging him a sick day to speak at a conference.
Yes.
So he's out of the picture for now. But basically, Mr. Wick is trying to find somebody else to pawn this dog off on. He doesn't want to have to take care of it.
No, of course not.
But it's the boss's dog, so you got to be good to it.
Which, in hindsight, as we come to learn, is a little crazy. If all like obviously it's the boss's dog, the big boss's dog.
Yeah.
You're gonna just kind of leave that to Drew Carey, who seems to, of anyone in the office, get you into the most shit.
Well, but also he does get them. He fucking had to put together a Thanksgiving Day parade last season. They give him weird assignments.
Yeah,
I don't think watching a dog is. He already has a dog. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I understand it, but the way that they go about it. So, like I said, Drew's not in the office. Kate is asked if she'll watch the dog. She can't because her apartment has a rule with no pets.
Yeah,
which, by the way,
convenient.
Is such an easy out for Kate.
I've been living on that excuse for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, you want your dog to come visit? No,
we can't have dogs. But she says she's more than willing to drop the dog off at Drew's, which seems like the most irresponsible of all of this. Is we're gonna leave the dog alone at Drew's place. Drew has no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's our opening. Is Kate now is dropping this dog off at Drew's.
Yes.
She tries to see if it gets along with Speedy. They seem to. They're sniffing each other's butts real quick.
Yeah. Which, again, forgot we have Speedy anyway.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting. Speedy will just make an appearance every few apps.
Now that they've finally healed Speedy, it can just be any golden retriever.
What are those dogs, like the Hollywood dogs? What do they do between, like, because they're not in every episode.
Yeah.
They just they go live with people and then they go to work like in a few weeks.
Well, some of them have tragic, some of them are doing blow and getting into the wrong scene. But some of them have charitable foundations and some of them speak at the UN and they're really advocating for dog rights. And
I really think that I met someone, I think it was like years ago, and I talked to someone on a dating app that they had a dog. It was like someone from like Hinge or something. They had a bunch of pictures with the dog. I commented on it.
Yeah.
And they talked about how their dog was one of the model dogs for like fucking Gap or whatever. It was like not like
was Gap?
Not like the Gap
The
has a
clothing
dog
company?
clothes. Not like the dog is wearing Gap clothes. But like it's like, oh, this is an all-American person and they're posing with dog. So anyway,
model dogs.
It was a model dog,
Yeah.
and it was a working dog. They lived in New York, and apparently they get a paycheck for this dog.
That's fucked up.
And I'm like, you're
not doing any of the work.
Fucked up.
You're not doing any. You're helping the dog.
I guess you keep it alive,
right?
You're its manager.
But like technically, there are people who keep other people alive. You know what I mean? Like they don't take their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's fucked up.
But what's the dog gonna do with the money? I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I guess
A
the
bunch of
best
bones.
case scenario,
Bunch of bones.
Yeah, is you get an owner that gets the paycheck and gets them a bunch of bones.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Also, you'd think if you bred a model dog, you obviously love that dog. But still, on paper, that's kind of fucked up to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounded fucked up.
It's how I feel about like parents who have babies who model and things.
It's exactly the same. Dogs are
hairy children.
Children working and dogs working. It's the same. It's the same problems it presents.
Yes.
The same abuses.
Yes.
We take advantage
This
of.
was why in all of the child labor laws we passed, there was also a note saying same thing for dogs.
Same thing, yeah.
You can't have the dogs
We always
working in
forget
the
that
mines.
clause.
Yeah, we forget about the dog clause. But yeah, so I don't know what happens with Speedy, but Speedy does make an appearance in this episode, and I hope somebody was paid for it. Kate stops into the apartment. Drew's not around. Oswald's calling him. Oswald's car has broken down outside of a hotel, and he's looking for a ride.
Yeah, he was talking about. I thought we were going to get presented here because he started talking about, this cheerleader here from like high school is like hitting on me, and I thought we were going to get presented with this whole B plot because Kate happens to hear it. Oswald doesn't know that she's hearing this voicemail. And I thought it was going to be like
a larger thing.
Like he's really into this cheerleader and his
He's
girlfriend's
cheating.
hearing. Yeah, but no, Oswald.
Yeah.
Oswald, he is a wife guy without
Oswald is
without Kate being his wife.
He's dumb enough to be a wife guy.
Yeah,
I think,
he
you know
loves.
what I mean?
He loves Kate.
Yeah,
that's what he said on the voicemail. He was like, "I'm in love with the most beautiful girl. Get
I told
away
her to
from
stay
me."
away.
Yeah. So-
and then she picks up, and then she hears him flirting, or she heard the girl's flirting with him again, and she's like, "I'm gonna get there faster," and then she darts out,
leaving the dog there,
leaving
with
the
no
dog.
explanation.
She later on she says she left a note. I don't think there was a single
see the
fucking note.
I didn't see the note.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, how could you expect? Maybe in the 90s, people were looking for fucking notes.
I don't feel like I would be looking.
I
for
would
notes.
never come into my house and look for a note.
Yeah, you and your girlfriend Belle very nicely cat sit for us last weekend.
Oh yeah, you guys did leave us.
We left, but I had to text you to be like, "There's a note. There's a note with everything you need on it." Like I was like, "You can't."
That's
just
how I knew to
assume.
look for the
yeah.
note.
Would you have looked for a note otherwise?
I would have looked for the food. So
Sure.
I would have looked for the food, and if the note was by the food, obviously we found it. That was smart.
Yeah,
But no, I wouldn't have looked for the note individually.
sure. Yeah. I don't know. Just bad idea. Just don't leave a note. Just stay if you have your boss's prize winning dog.
Yeah.
Just stay. Anyway, she doesn't stay. Drew comes in almost immediately after she leaves with Lewis. The speaking thing went well. I don't really know what it was. He said it was like some sort of paper thing.
Yeah, it went well. At least that's what Drew thinks. But then Lewis mentions like, oh, what if they all just had eyeballs painted on their eyelids and they were asleep?
He presents an incredible idea. I had never. Yeah, they all coordinated painting their eyelids.
Yeah.
And then Drew starts to think, fuck, they might have actually done that. And then, yeah, they walk out back and there's just another dog there. Just another shaggy looking dog. And if I wasn't aware at this point that it was like a bred to look like that award winning dog, I would have thought like, who the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah, it seems like just a stray. Although it would have a collar, right?
I don't know.
Like a stray dog, the idea is it doesn't have a collar. It's just like a naked dog.
Yeah.
Also, dogs without collars, though, it's you ever take your collar off your dog?
Yeah.
It is a little weird.
Yeah. Well, just it's one, it looks weird, but then two, also you can see it like on the neck.
Yeah. Well, not only, but then it's also like the dog will look at you like you just took off its clothes, like you've just undressed
my
the
dog
dog.
naked.
And now the dog's look like a little uncomfortable. It's got a little shock.
Stop
face.
looking at me like that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this was a moment for me with Drew where I was like, oh, that's, he was ready to open his heart up and his home and keep another dog.
Yeah.
He was, cause Lewis was going to take it to the pound.
Yeah.
And I think it was Drew that was like, don't.
You know what happens to dogs that go to the pound? And Lewis actually does not know. He believes in Doggy Mountain, I think is what he says.
Doggy Island.
Doggy Island, thank you very much, which is where dogs get to relax and eat steak all day.
Yeah.
This is what he was told when his dog went to Doggy Island at age 8.
Yes. Anyway, Drew is game for just keeping this dog anyway.
Yeah. So
And
good for Drew.
We come to find out the next scene, which is just later in the day at the house.
They had taken it to the vet. And they
took
got
it
it
to the
all
vet.
checked out, cleaned up.
Yeah, they shaved off all its hair.
Yes. And then Kate comes in and she's like, oh, holy shit, you have no idea what you've just done like that. Didn't you see my note? All this stuff. And we learn that not only, Oswald goes, oh, well, hair at least grows back. Sure, yeah, he shaved the dog.
Yeah.
There was some other things they did, though, that don't. They also got Lucky fixed. So pretty unlucky that this fucking dog got its junk cut up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No good.
it's really crazy. Is that like the first they did? Don't you normally when you get a dog fixed, you have to get the it has to be put in a cone? No.
I don't know.
Like because
Because it's gonna go and get at the stitches.
Not the stitches.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe dog.
But this dog.
Lucky just took that.
took it on
Like
the
a
chin.
Yeah, took it on the chin.
Well, when you're an award-winning dog,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
He's
Like, finally.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. Again, we suspend disbelief, I think,
Yes.
for a sitcom.
God, that's so hard. It's so hard to watch TV and suspend.
I can't. You're telling me all of them live in Cleveland? but I see him on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lauder's award-winning breeding dog,
Hungarian Pulley,
yes,
is now fully shaved. Honestly,
is now
here's my one
shaved and neutered. Honestly,
thing. Dog looks way better.
control the pet population. Drew on his shit.
Drew was Bob Barker before he even knew he was Bob Barker.
The Price is Right.
I think it's a beautiful looking dog when you shave it down, though. It's got to be a different.
They were talking
dog.
about how ugly that dog is.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
Wick later on talks
a regular
about,
handsome dog.
It looks very nice.
Yeah.
They did up like the beard area.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it with the dog?
Yes. I do like when they leave it a little long around the nose.
Yeah, it's cute. It's very
because
becoming.
dogs are a little self-conscious. They got big noses.
Sure.
So you get to leave the hair a little longer around there. You can't really tell how big
it
the
all
nose
blends
is.
in.
Yeah.
So they're all freaking the fuck out, though. They realize they're going to lose their jobs, basically, because of what they've done. Drew calls the vet and and he asks if they keep anything after they fix a dog, just in case.
Yeah.
And then the dog, the vet laughs at him so hard that he goes, well, if that's the silliest thing you've ever heard, your world's pretty small. Fuck, man. And then Mr. Wick arrives to Carey's house.
He's ready to take the dog back, I guess.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just for an afternoon, I guess.
I guess, which is another thing that's amazing.
This all happened.
They didn't even have to watch this dog for that long.
Yeah, this is in the course of a handful of hours.
Also, like, again,
I hate a dog fixed that quick.
Yeah, do they take walk-ins at the vet? Like, where they're just ready to... I get if it's a haircut, but, like, are they just going to chop his balls off
right
too?
there and now?
Yeah.
Apparently. Wick is freaking out, basically, when they realize that, he didn't know, and the dog's completely changed.
Yeah.
Kate is finding a dog breeder who sells Hungarian Pulleys.
Yes.
The least she's able to get it down
the next best idea is to just
replace the dog.
Replace the dog and just hope she doesn't know.
How would she know, though? Like, it's not like you chipped the dogs in the 90s, right?
I guess, but like, when the dog doesn't answer to its name.
Yeah, it's true.
Or like,
no, there's a lot of flaws here. Or if there's like something specific
you have to
that
train
they don't know.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but does the dog do tricks, or does the dog just look pretty? I think the dog is just a beautiful dog.
Even just like, I don't know what you're buying a dog out of a newspaper ad. It might shit and piss all over the house and everything. Like you have your nice dog trained to
ready to go.
It knows you. So anyway,
yeah.
I don't think this plan's gonna work. Guys, I'd love to be a fly on the wall and they'd be like, this might be hard.
Might be some issues here. The larger issue, though, for them is the cost, because she can only get this guy down to $4,500.
Yeah.
For a fucking dog. It's crazy.
I don't know what the going rate for dogs are.
Yeah.
Like, are they that much normally? Or is that like an expensive dog?
I don't know. I adopt, don't shop. I don't know. I actually have no idea how much a dog costs. But $4,500 seems like a lot. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess it is a full-grown dog, though, not like a puppy.
Yeah.
So maybe the size of the dog comes
and also,
into play
like,
here.
you're buying, you can like have it, breed. So
sure.
You can buy really you're spending $4,500, but you could get infinite dogs if you find
my breedable dog. The breedable ones go for more money.
Anyway, obviously Drew doesn't have this money. None of his friends have his money.
They think Mr. Wick might.
Yeah, because Mr. Wick is a wealthy European. I don't know where this came off that he's wealthy. I guess that he's the boss, but like, is it just because he's English?
They do also say, if only I knew someone who was like wealthy and British, and I don't know. Is it the posh accent makes you think maybe? Just maybe.
I guess.
He might have the cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't strike me as a wealthy man, though.
No, not at all. And apparently, he's not even allowed to touch his
own money because he had a gambling problem.
Yeah, he likes to bet on the ponies.
Yeah, he bets on the ponies. So he's just like a horse race guy.
Yeah, he's a horse race guy, but apparently the courts have ordered he's not allowed to touch
His mother manages his money.
His mother manages his money.
Yeah.
So
she's
anyway,
got a very tight leash. So.
I thought this was where we're going to pivot to like, oh, let's make the money betting on the horses, though. Maybe Wick has insider
that
knowledge.
would be the logical answer to this. But this is where this episode takes a weird left turn.
And I think we were both like, how the fuck did we get here?
To this point. Because Drew then suggests they all go and put on a striptease show, like a burlesque show, like not a burlesque show, but a striptease at the Warsaw.
Yeah.
For cash to raise $4,500.
I'm assuming the conversation, and again, we watched the episode, so
we did.
I'm assuming the conversation went, how do people make money, a lot of money, quick?
Yeah.
And they went right to stripping.
These guys watched Nora. And they knew. They knew. They saw Mikey Madison. And they knew.
They pro sex worker.
It's the sex worker. Drew
the
Carey
sex worker sitcom, Drew Carey show. Yeah, it really was. I have no idea how we got here.
They're gonna do the full Monty.
And
at the
can we
Warsaw.
just talk about Oswald? Is so fucking excited.
He's so game for this
to get naked.
He's like, I'll do it at every opportunity. Yeah,
right in front of his girlfriend sitting right there, and she's not even questioning it. He's just.
I think she's probably into him being into it.
Yeah,
too,
but he's just so amped to be like, yeah, I'll strip.
I'm throughout this have pinned Oswald, Drew, Diedrich Bader's character, as like the horny hot one.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about like his upper thighs and how he's like, he'll put on costumes and shit.
I always thought that maybe that was a little bit of projection from us just because he puts on the most costumes.
Sure.
No.
Nah.
This is who they want him to be.
He is a real voyeur.
He is, yes.
He's really into the idea of you seeing him naked.
He loves it. He was so excited. Everybody was poo-pooing the idea, and he was like, I'll do it right now.
Yeah.
Lewis doesn't want to because of some hair. He has the really unusually red hairs.
He's got very red hair down there, is what he basically says. And then, which, again, I just want to say he is European. Mr. Wick says that his captain still sleeps with his cap on.
Yeah.
So... But I don't know. Maybe that's extra money. Honestly,
right.
We're talking about an uncircumcised penis. I don't know. I'll throw 20.
Also, how is that an excuse?
Well, anything's an excuse, really.
Like,
I think at this point.
I'm just like, are there no male strippers that no uncircumcised male strippers?
No, there have to be.
There definitely have to be.
There's a market for everybody in the sex worker industry. Absolutely.
Anyway. They've decided that this is the plan.
This is the best course of action. Is we're gonna strip at our local bar for money. And to be fair, when we get there,
shout out to Warsaw being cool with it too.
Well, yeah. I mean, the
place was jam packed.
What's the call you put in? How do you advertise this?
They got two of the guys are paying rent there. I mean, they got so much pull in that bar.
They just come home and they go, oh, hey, by the way, it's Saturday. I'm going to pull my penis out on the bar. Is that cool?
And they jam-packed the bar. I mean, and I love that nobody considered maybe they haven't been cleared to do this.
Yeah, maybe this is illegal.
Yeah.
I will say, to their credit, though, it also seems like before we even get to the actual thing, like there seems to be, Drew talks about them preparing and they've got a dance routine down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's just like, I'm going to get naked. Like they clearly have a show going on.
No, and clearly they've been getting the word out. And everyone's there. Even Mimi's there with a magnifying glass.
Yeah, she gets a Drew. She's like, I'm ready for you. Yeah. Drew's taunting her back, being like, maybe I'm going to do a lap dance in the middle of this. She immediately throws money at him to keep him away.
And the rest of the gang is, again, Oswald's super thrilled. They didn't realize that Kate is going to hang out there. And I guess Nikki was out of town. She also makes an appearance.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in the audience. And they're all for it.
Yeah.
They're
Nikki
excited.
doesn't realize when she's just there to watch naked guys. She doesn't realize it's going to be
Drew
and them.
Yeah.
So, but then she's immediately like cool with it, sitting down, ready to watch.
Lewis bails right away.
Yeah.
He's too uncomfortable with his hair situation.
He says the anxiety of it has made his red hair go gray.
Yeah.
And then Drew's like, I need my silver fox. And it's no good. Drew, he bails. And then out of fucking nowhere, Larry enters again. Larry has been released from prison.
He has a goatee now.
Yeah, he's a changed man. He's a changed man.
This is how you know time has passed. Is Larry
was the makeup department slapped on a goatee on this man. Yeah, he got out of jail that morning, and he says he will take Lewis's spot in the lineup for $100.
Yeah.
All he needs is $100.
And Drew seems kind of pessimistic.
Yeah.
But then Larry says, let me show you what I'm working with.
And takes him behind the bar and then just kind of drops trowel.
Just flashes Drew.
Yeah. Drew takes a shot and then he's like, all right, you're in. I don't know what that hesitation was. If he was stunned or if he was like, fuck, I don't know.
The implication
is Larry's hung.
Yeah, the implication is Larry's packing heat. But
they call him Kong in a later,
Kong.
in a later line. Yeah, damn. You ever? Drew Carey saw a penis that was so big he had to take a shot of whiskey, and he didn't even have to do anything. He just had. Yeah.
Good for Larry, I guess. If your whole life went to shit,
yeah.
At least now we see why
Mrs. Louder
really
put
him on the board.
Yeah, I get it absolutely.
Him flashing. I was like, are they really going to do this right now? Like right behind the bar.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't it the audience is seated?
Yeah,
yeah.
So anyway, no more than 2 minutes later,
yeah,
they're all coming down the stairs.
Yes.
They all went up for a costume change. They're all coming down the stairs in global parcel package delivery.
They're dressed like delivery men. They've got boxes in front of their junk.
Yes.
And they start spinning the boxes. They get up, they start the dance routine. They get up on the bar. They're spinning the boxes, going crazy. And then in walk the police, who are like, you know what? You're not properly zoned for this kind of show. So we're going to have to shut you down, unfortunately. And Drew starts to pick up a fight with the police.
Yeah, and the
about
police
his
are like,
right to get naked.
Take it up with the city council. And
right.
He's like, as we know, Drew will go to the council or court, wherever he has to go, and he'll take care of it himself.
Drew loves making a scene. Drew's the kind of guy...
This is like the third time we've been... we went to city council before with the...
I think twice. We went for, obviously, the freedom of speech thing with the... Caterpillar,
and then we went for the brewery.
Yes,
yeah,
for him being able to have Buzz beer.
Right.
Yeah. Drew's the kind of guy who would call the police on you just to go to the court sentencing. You know what I mean? I think he just likes democracy in action.
Drew would represent himself over speeding tickets. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
He's probably calling his local congressman too.
Yeah.
I imagine he's that kind of. He's activated. He's motivated.
Yeah. If his posts on Blue Sky mean anything, yes, he's fully ready to go. So
it gets shut down by the police. Although at the end we do find out that the police ask, "How are those boxes attached?"
Yes,
which I'm like, "Come on, guys!" Everyone, Wick says it's Velcro.
Yeah,
except for Larry.
Larry's like, "You guys have Velcro?" My man's hung.
Yeah, good for Larry.
And then
snaps for Larry.
The final left turn of this whole thing is we do get a city council scene.
Yeah,
with Drew and everybody else ready to plead their case to get naked.
I didn't think it'd go
bar.
Here, but of course,
I didn't think. What happened with the dog?
Yeah,
we had a dog. There was a whole plot here. There was a whole other fucking story.
They needed money for a dog that they got neutered,
and now it's actually turned into a freedom to show your penis in public story. We've completely changed the trajectory of this.
Right.
So fuck the dog. We're now in front of the city council.
This is about your right to strip at the bar.
They're making their case that they should be allowed to do this. It doesn't matter about the zoning. There's some sort of, I guess, pornography store down the block. That's
what their argument is. It's because the city council says there's some sort of city ordinance. It's a very traditional neighborhood. This sort of thing isn't allowed. But then they Drew points out the adult shop down the street, which the city council member, I guess, gets his pornography at.
He's intimately familiar with.
But he says the difference is magazines versus live
entertainment.
Yes.
So it looks like they're gonna,
they all start presenting like different arguments too. Wix was like, in Europe, everyone's naked, and the guy's just like, that's bullshit. Which I guess.
Larry's is very simple. He's like, "You want to see what I'm working with?" It's just
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
again.
Larry
He's
was-
just
Larry's ready to
pull
whip it out
and
again.
whatever you want.
Listen, I guess it probably got him through prison. So he's probably been conditioned that this is his main weapon.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway,
So and then the gang right before they're gonna basically rule that we're gonna keep it the way it is. Drew's like, "You didn't even see the show. Can we do the show for you?" And then the audience. Oh, good.
I was gonna say Lewis's. I forgot. I did write down Lewis's argument. It was, "You're born naked, you die naked, if you plan it right." But yeah, no, you're right. Then everyone says that, "How are you going to shut this down? You haven't seen this."
Right. So they launch into a full choreographed dance routine of them, and they're in their not in the outfits, but they're just dressed
They're in their suits.
Yeah, they're just going.
So they've clearly choreographed another routine
for this
for the city council meeting.
for this city council meeting.
They love dance numbers. I mean,
Yeah,
we know
it's
this.
true.
Yeah.
This one though, they go all out. They're taking they rip their shirts off. They take off their blazers. They start rubbing it between their crotches.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to go as far
Yeah.
as it did.
Yeah. Well,
They pull out socks out of their underwear, which is funny. But
and then they rip off the underwear, and then we get this beautiful shot. Beautiful's okay, a strong word. We get this well framed shot of their asses covered with microphones, but they're full naked.
Yeah.
In front of the city council doing the thing, and then it's a freeze frame of them in that moment.
So they just expose themselves in front of
Cleveland
city council and everyone in that room.
Yeah.
And I guess the implication is that everyone was down for it, because the next scene they're at the bar at the Warsaw counting their money.
Did they get the money at city council? This is it doesn't, whatever. I'm asking too much of it. But yeah, no, they're counting their money and they're trying to figure out what to do with it, which again, I know I just said it, but this was about a dog at one point.
This was not the plot line. And frankly, I don't agree with them. I don't agree that you can just strip at the bar or flash everyone in city council.
Where do you find the courage to say that?
These people should be in jail. Larry should be back in prison, and everyone should be a cellmate.
Oswald's too excited to show you his penis. It's
maybe that guy should be locked away. I don't know.
But anyway, they're counting the money, and then they're trying to figure out where it's going to go to. Oswald says they should get new costumes for their next routine. And then Drew says, "No, we need to give it to the people who deserve it." And it's at this point that I think for the first time in the show's history, we break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And Drew walks up past the cameras into the audience scene and starts handing out $1 bills.
Yes.
And he's going, "Sorry you saw my butt. Sorry you saw my butt. Sorry you saw my butt."
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how it ends. It's I liked that. I thought that was a fun moment.
end. But you're completely right in that we just completely because even in the end, when they have the money,
Yeah.
fuck the dog, I guess.
Yeah,
They're just
the money there was a reason this all happened.
Yeah, and they made just enough money to buy the dog.
Do you think they reverse engineer? Like, do you think they started with the idea of the full Monty at the Warsaw and then like reverse engineered how to get there? Or do you think this was just two people like going crazy in a writer's room?
It might have been. I feel like maybe they had 2 episodes, and they're like, let's just combine these.
You got chocolate in my peanut butter. I got peanut butter.
Right, because I can't even see how you reverse engineer it and get to the dog plot. Like, there's a whole litany of things they could need money for.
Yeah. Yeah.
accidentally neutering the big boss's dog.
Also, like we've said before, it's not like it's cheap to get these animals for the show. Like,
no.
That girl on Hinge could tell you how much dogs
Yeah.
like it's, I don't know. So it's insane to me that we just don't touch on it after this. Whatever. I don't know.
Anyway,
that's episode 8. That's
yeah.
Look, I will say this. I got it.
You think the people in the audience, they were really like, I mean, I know that's a real audience, but like, so those those are probably just people that now they were on TV. They probably had to sign a release, and now they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm going to be on."
I think you
I'm
generally
going to be on this episode.
you sign or you agree to a release. There's like a bunch of signs and shit when you go through that stuff. It's like your image and sound, like really your laugh, like you would be.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to sign anything. But yeah, no, that's
cool.
Yeah,
they're like, "Hey, I'm on TV. I'm on this episode of
You'll
the Drew
see
Carey show."
the one where Drew shows his ass. Yeah, I'm in the audience.
I saw it.
I saw it. I still haven't recovered fully. Yeah. No, I will say the episodes get bigger and bigger in scope and like like we said with the whole Batmobile thing, like there's like big swings here for sure, like bringing in a Hungarian pulley dog or like doing a choreographed it's like
strip in front of the city council.
Yeah, like they're taking swings still. I appreciate that, I guess.
I hope this is a return of Larry.
Yeah, I would like that too.
A little more Larry in my life. I don't need never just Larry's massive hog, I guess, in my life, but just more Larry. He seems to add another element of crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this takes us then to season 3, episode 9, Drew's brother, because there's not enough cast in this show.
No,
Well, there's not enough characters.
what's this guy's name?
The actor or the brother?
Yeah, what's the brother's name?
The brother's name is Steven.
No.
The actor's name.
Sorry,
The actor's name is
he's in
John Carroll Lynch.
Oh yeah. He's in a whole bunch of stuff. But
What do you know?
I know him mostly from Fargo.
Ah, yeah.
He's the husband of the detective.
He's in Zodiac.
He's like, Margie.
Yeah.
He's like makes her. I think he like paints ducks or something. I forget what he does, but anyway, he's got such a great role in Fargo.
That's my one big shame. I haven't seen the movie or any of the FX stuff.
He's in Zodiac.
Yeah,
he's definitely in a lot. I mean, he's a very recognizable.
Is he who I think he is in Zodiac though? I'm not gonna. I think is he the guy that they like?
I've never seen.
Oh fuck. Okay, well that's fine. We haven't seen both of the movies that we know this guy from.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys love this part of the app where we talk about movies that neither the other person has seen.
But he's really known. He's on the show until the end, by the way.
Oh wow! Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently this is a recurring character
This guy
that we're
comes.
gonna deal with.
Oh, I
which
wonder
makes
how long he lives with Drew.
Yeah, which makes the context of this even more fascinating.
Yeah, wait, because they introduce him with a big swing here.
Yeah, that I think might continue through. So yeah, we start this episode with Drew and the gang out back. It's 4 degrees outside and it's snowing, but they're shooting pool in shorts and tank tops.
Yeah, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
What?
Well, they got heat lamps. Drew has
They
heat
had
lamps.
4 heat lamps and they're trying to pretend it's summer.
Yeah.
And they're all like, I think like Kate's in a swimsuit top or whatever, or
Daisy
they're all
Dukes
in
or
like
whatever.
luau shirts.
They're all chilling, having a good time.
And
even
it's
the
like
fact
there
that
was
it's
a
blizzard.
report on the radio that there was a blizzard.
Yeah.
So, but they're shooting pool. All the snow has melted around the pool table.
Yeah. It's the perfect little oasis. And I guess it must be that fucking hot because like they're sweating, they say.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, of course, the lamps go out.
Yeah.
Kate goes, my sweat is freezing. They all run inside. They're getting changed. And then suddenly a pizza delivery driver arrives with a pizza. Drew didn't order anything. They're assuming that Drew can just order now telepathically to the pizza store.
Got him.
And we find out it's Drew's older brother, Steven, who we have not heard about at all to this point.
I was going to ask, did I just miss the part where he has a brother?
I don't think so. If you did, I also did. So I don't have any recollection.
I mean, they do acknowledge that he hasn't seen him in 2 years.
Right.
And I guess in the 90s, it's easy to just disappear people from your life.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
there's no
Instagram for him to follow.
There's no Facebook feed for him to be shouting off of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if you just don't really, if you only have a landline, you probably
aren't talking a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, he's been gone and down to Florida. But yeah, he gives Drew a noogie. And then I don't know if you got this. There's a beef he has with Lewis that I find fascinating. He made him pee blue or something.
Yeah.
Did you catch this?
I don't
I missed
didn't.
what it was.
I literally have in my notes, everyone loves him except for Lewis has beef over prank.
Yeah.
And it was something to do with Blue.
Yeah,
I don't know
I think
what
he made him piss Blue, which again, as I said at the top, is not what you should be pissing. We're looking for a light yellow stream here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's still upset about that. But yeah, everybody else loves him. He gets along real well.
Also, wait, there's a lot. Whenever he sees Drew, he like gives him a noogie until Drew says, I'm a girl. That's why mom and dad named me Drew.
Yes.
It's just funny now as you learn more about the episode.
A little foreshadowing.
Yeah, a little foreshadowing.
Foreshadow.
Right.
Yeah, no. So he's up from Florida, but he is down on his luck. We learned that he was engaged. It's now broken off.
They broke up on the way up
to Cleveland.
Up to Cleveland.
He also lost his job. I don't know what he was doing.
Apparently, it was a cushy job at the plant, and he said the plant burned down.
Ow.
So.
Wow.
That was like,
don't you hate when the plant burns down?
There was another moment in here where someone lost their job because it burned down, and I'm like, this is just how people used to lose jobs.
Yeah. Well, it all burned to smithereens.
See, back in my day, we didn't have layoffs. if you lost your job, it probably burned down.
So he's down on his luck. He's no good. He asks Drew if he can crash with him while he's getting his bearings about him. And this is the first we see of these like weird little one-off scenes that I really like of like.
Yeah, I didn't. This was like crazy too.
It's like Drew's like a vision, a nightmare of the future.
Yeah.
It's like a weird slow shot. Like it looks like it's in slow-mo or like different like frame rate or something.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely like a different frame rate.
It's like Steven, the colors are really bright.
POV.
Yes. And it's like really bright and like there's like a bunch of crazy fucking shit going on.
Yeah, there's like a guy juggling
on a unicycle. There's like a mountain of pizza boxes. There's a
Something's
fire
on
in the
fire,
back.
yeah.
And it's just Steve sitting there
in his underwear,
just relaxing. But Drew says, "Yeah, sure. Come on in."
Of course, it's his brother.
Yeah. What are you?
What other answer was Drew Carey gonna have?
Yeah. Drew will take in a stray dog. He's not going to take in his brother. He let his parents stay there, and then they stole the house from him.
Right.
He'll do it. So Steve is also looking for work. Oswald brings up, he's thinking about anything. Oswald talks that Global Parcel is looking to hire drivers, I think, right?
Yeah. So he doesn't initially take Oswald up on that. Lewis is kind of just wants him to leave.
Yeah.
He does say, Drew, you work in
Winford
Louder. You hire at Winford Louder. Why can't you get me something there? Drew's like, oh, we have some back of house stuff, but with your back, that's probably not good. So, because you can't lift anything. And then we have a modeling job, but with your front, also not good. So I can't tell here if Drew just doesn't want him to work with him. It seems like based on that flash he had where everything was burning.
Might not be the best idea to bring him into where you make your money.
Right. But, and also as we come to find out, Drew kind of hates conflicts of interest, especially in the workplace.
Yeah, it creates an issue for Drew, a moral issue. We've always said he's a moral man.
The last thing he needs is another one in his workplace.
Exactly. So, but does Steve say this or does Kate? I can't remember. But somebody brings up that there's an opening in the cosmetics department.
Steve says that.
I think like he almost premeditated, looked it up and was like, oh, you know what I did see though, because Kate works there. And we learned that opening is there because Kate basically beat the shit out of the last woman that worked with her in cosmetics.
Yeah, according to Kate, she kicked her own ass and fell down the escalator.
Right, yeah, because she was taking her commission.
Yes.
So what else was she going to do but kick her own ass? But yeah, this is where we get that second sort of weird scene of him and Kate in the department store.
Yeah, and everything's burning.
Yeah.
And anyway, I guess his brother kind of pitches it as, look, I can keep Kate in check.
And Kate points out we have a lot of male cosmetic products, like I'm assuming like moisturizers.
It'll be good to have a man down there.
Right. It helps sell more stuff.
So
then we go to the department store the next day. Did you catch what it was that Drew pulled over for? Him and Kate were arguing. He like pulled over for a donut truck or something.
No.
There was something about the carpool. And
I was
Kate
more caught up on this B plot that we never really acknowledged that much, which was Mimi.
Oh, it's true.
Mimi comes in at the beginning of the scene, and she is dressed as like Jackie O. She's all wrapped up with her head and the glasses, to which
she's covered.
To which Drew calls her Jackie. Oh my God!
There you go.
But the
very Invisible Man looking, I would
right,
say.
Definitely.
We learned she's had an allergic reaction
to some makeup, some new makeup she tried.
Right, and on doctor's order, she's not allowed to apply any more makeup for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
horrifying.
I really figured we'd at least get me. I'm not gonna lie. I was interested in what she would look like.
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna at least show us.
Yeah,
we never saw it.
No,
she goes through all these schemes to not show it. Most notably, she had like a projector that was like projecting
in
a
later
face.
scene. She's doing like a Japanese geisha sort of thing where she's wearing like a fan, and she takes off the fan and turns on a projector that projects makeup onto her face.
Wick's not like, and that's only because in this earlier scene, like Wick's like, no, you can't. I'm not going to accept
in this very
this.
scene. He's like, we
cannot
we need to see your face.
Yeah. But that's like it.
Do we think
that's all of this? We never get a resolution.
Do we think that this was by design to keep her out of the cosmetics part of the story?
Oh,
that was how I took it. Was like, why would Mimi not be involved in the makeup department?
Yeah,
because she's always like stealing shit from there and things.
Yeah,
that was the one reason I was like, well, maybe
they wrote it in intentionally there.
It's all it gives Kathy Kinney also a fun little gag.
Yeah.
I like
the projector thing was funny.
I like when Wick tries to take the scarf off of her in this scene, and she grabs his arm, and he lets out like a very ladylike squeal, and she goes, "Sorry, sir, I forgot you're British." Just like real
fuck the Brits,
fuck 'em. Just like in case you forgot, we hate you.
Cleveland is better than all of Britain. All of Britain, in case you guys forgot.
Mm-hmm. So it's also here that Drew asks Mr. Wick for a favor. It's his brother's first day on the cosmetics line, and Drew
wants to fuck with him a little bit.
Yeah, can you fuck with him a little bit? Can you go down there and fire him, but like not really?
Yeah, and of course Wick
is like,
he's
sure,
so game, but then he was like, could you do
I have a really fun prank that you can pull.
Yeah.
I want you to go down to the nurse's office and ask, and they're going to hate this, and ask for a hemorrhoid pillow.
Yeah.
And then get it and inflate it and leave it on my seat. And then, he
limps
hobbles away. Yeah, it's such a fucking funny, beautiful.
That's the last. Although then in like a couple scenes later, he does do a lot of bending over. He moves very fluidly. So,
yeah, maybe the pillow worked.
Maybe it did. You know what? I hope it did.
So yeah, we head down to the cosmetics floor, and we see how Steve's first day is going. But he's not doing it as Steve. He's doing it as Stephanie. Yeah. We get this crazy reveal that Drew's brother is dressed on the floor in a very nice dress and high heels and makeup and a wig.
Clearly,
because he's a bald man. I don't know if we've said that at this point.
Oh yeah, he was.
He's
like
a
very
bald man.
He's a fugly bald man. He's very like big.
Yeah,
he's like easily the tallest guy in the show.
Yeah.
And anyway, and now we come to see that he is cross-dressing.
He's a cross-dresser.
Yes, he's a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
And he's cross-dressing as Stephanie, which, listen, we'll get into their reaction to this. I was kind of like, I feel like he should have given Drew a heads up.
Yeah.
But then I get it. Maybe you jeopardize getting the job. You probably jeopardize getting the job.
I think
based
you do,
on
absolutely.
everyone's reaction. But I'm just like, maybe if you give your brother a heads up, there can be a little more understanding and compassion rather than this ridiculous response everyone has.
It's a rug pull for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's also asking a lot, I think. It puts Drew in a bad position, though Drew loves getting put in a bad position. I think throughout this show. He loves that. Yeah, it's his weird little kink.
So why they keep him around. Otherwise they would cut Drew from the show.
Yeah, if Drew,
they could do the show without Drew if he was just getting himself in good positions.
The Drew Carey show doesn't need Drew if he wasn't getting fucked.
Just give me more crazy Oswald and Lewis shit.
Just what if we just replaced him with Larry?
Somebody
must have pitched this at some point. So he's Drew comes down looking for Steve, and he walks past Stephanie twice, and he's like, oh, I'm just waiting for somebody. And then it slowly dawns on him who it is, and he's fully taken aback that his brother's a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
Mr. Wick, before they even have time to talk about it, Mr. Wick comes down looking for Steve to try to fire him.
Yeah.
And he's smitten. Mr. Wick is smitten with Drew's
Stephanie.
brother, with Stephanie. He's, being like, oh, is it your first day? Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, like, again, here, it's just so because he is like towering over Wick.
Right.
Nothing is dawning on him.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe Wick likes Amazonian women. Like a
Clearly.
tall, yeah.
Well, we've kind of gotten this idea that like Wick likes to be dominated
A little bit. Yeah. Right? Wasn't that the whole thing with Kate kind of?
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm not yucking nobody's yum.
Damn right. Whatever, Mr.
Go
Wick.
for it, Mr. Wick.
Bet on those ponies. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's not until Kate comes down and says the word Steve right at Stephanie that Mr. Wick realizes that's Drew's brother, and he's cross-dressing right now.
Absolutely loses.
And he plays it cool
to her, yeah.
But or to him. To him.
Look,
this is going to be the line that we're going to have to walk. It's because we do, to jump it a little bit, we do have a conversation later on where Drew asks if he's gay or like what this is.
And he says no.
And he says no. I just like dressing like this.
He just likes wearing. Well, there's another. We'll get into his explanations because there's a great moment with him and Oswald in the truck too. But anyway, the rest of the scene, Wick plays it cool.
To him, introduces, welcome Stephanie, welcome aboard, but then just Drew on the side is like, you got to fire him by the end of the day.
We can't have this on. There's a very traditional clientele here that will not accept.
Won't anyone think of the norms?
Yes.
Won't anyone think of the norms at the department store? So Drew is given an ultimatum that he has to fire his brother from the department store by the end of the day. He doesn't.
Who, by the way, was also crushing it. We did the opening scene. He was like giving this this lady.
He knows. Look, if you
knows makeup,
I think if you're a male cross dresser, you
probably are very well oriented.
You have to know. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he would absolutely know what would work. He would actually probably be the best cosmetics employee they've ever had.
So anyway, we've put Drew in this difficult spot, I guess, because Wick wants him out, but it's Drew's brother, and I mean, what do you do? I don't know. So as we know, Drew loves this job more than his life. Yeah. So
it's a tough spot.
We don't get a resolution here.
And Drew actually leaves. They don't carpool in together, or carpool out together, I should say. Drew just straight up leaves.
So anyway, Oswald picks up Kate and
Steve,
Stephanie.
Steve is still in drag.
And still in drag, Stephanie, in his truck, and they're driving home. This is... there's a good moment here. So obviously it like lingers on the fact that Oswald's like, why are you in a dress?
Yeah.
And like,
we get again, the dumb golden retriever Oswald, I would say. Like he's just so happy to be in that truck. And he's like, just like curious. Like it's not even like he has no idea the baggage of the day. So he's just like, hey, why are you in a dress?
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, I'm a cross dresser. Oh, okay.
And then he asks, why are you a cross dresser? Mm-hmm. And he goes, Steve goes, why do you go to baseball games or like taking a walk in the park or doing it? Is like, Oswald's like, it feels good. And then Steve's like, well, you should try doing it in ladies' underwear. And that was it.
It's just, I don't know.
And then Oswald is like, it like lingers on him, and this is exactly the reaction I would have hoped from him. It like lingers on him, and then he like smiles, and he's kind of interested. Again, the golden retriever moment. He's like, maybe.
Listen, I think we know voyeur Oswald is open to more.
Yes, again, this is his.
Put him in a thong.
Put him in anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was. Well, we did the whole Rocky Horror thing in the beginning of this.
Absolutely, that's it, man. Diedrich Bader, he gets it. He gets it. So no, it's a nice moment in all of this. I think as we try to navigate the water of what the fuck we're gonna do with the Steve Stephanie situation.
And they asked. There is a moment too where he's like, "Where? I guess I got to talk to Drew."
Yeah.
where would he be? And he's like, brother showed up wearing a dress to work. Probably the Warsaw.
Yeah, probably the bar.
Probably needed a bar.
So he weighs whether or not he should change, and then Kate, I think, says something like, "Well, what would you want to not get beat up in?"
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh yeah, this is silk," So he decides to change, and then we go to the Warsaw, and we get him and Drew and Lewis, I guess, sitting down. Oh, before we get and Nikki's there as well. We get Nikki, Drew, and Lewis talking about a specific moment Lewis had.
Yeah. So they're talking. They're trying to break down his, Drew's brother being a crossdresser, and Lewis is like, yeah, he just never grew out of that phase. That phase we all go through where we try on our mother's clothes and we dance around the house singing Supreme songs.
Yeah, and Drew's like, what phase are you talking about, Lewis?
What age was that phase?
Yeah. They all,
So they all shame Lewis.
Yeah,
for just.
It's a tough episode for anybody who has a little something
who just has a little something different they like to do.
But then Steve enters, and Lewis and Nikki give them space to kind of chat this out, and they have a heart-to-heart about why didn't you tell me, and why couldn't you tell the family, and it's a nice moment, I'd say, between these two brothers of trying to make sense of each other's lives after they've fallen apart.
Yeah. They also, there was like Drew coming to realizations. I guess he's done this all his life, Steve.
Yeah.
Because there was all this like women's clothes in Steve's room growing up. And Drew was like, I danced with those. And I was like, those weren't my girlfriends. Those were mine.
Yeah.
So, and then as we come to find out here, Drew asks if he was gay, but not out of totally the blue. He asks if he was gay. Steve says, no, just likes dressing clothes, and he's like, "Damn, because I could have made you CEO of this place."
Right?
It was like it's a good way to protect your job. It's a
protected group that you can't get fired because you're a gay man.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in the rule book though that says you can't fire a cross-dresser. I guess.
Yeah.
1997, 1998.
Right.
So Drew decides though in this meeting they're talking, he's not going to fire him. He's going to do he's going to fight. He's going to go to bat for his brother, which is the right thing.
Yes.
And what we would have expected from Drew.
Yeah. 100%. The guy just will go to city council to fight all this random bullshit.
He'll show his dong to city council. Yeah, there's no reason.
Exactly. He's not going to fight for his brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Firing his brother. So
in classic Drew Carey fashion, though, he cooks up a scheme here.
Yeah.
So the next day, we go back to
again, because if he's not cooking up a scheme, just cut his ass.
What's
man.
the show?
Get rid of him. Just make it the Lewis and Oswald show.
Just show another episode of Full House. I don't care. So the next day at the office, Nikki is there and Drew, and they present an option to Mr. Wick. They have a game that they want him to play.
Yes.
And the game is basically, what is it? Dude looks like a lady, they call
play
it?
On the greats.
Maybe
great. I don't know. I actually haven't listened. It's an Aerosmith song.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So they have basically hidden 4 men that are cross-dressed down on the showroom floor in Winfred Louder. And if Mr. Wick can find one of them in 1 minute, Drew's brother loses his job.
Yeah.
Also, in a weird twist, though, if he finds one of them, he gets Drew's pool table.
Yeah, he really wanted the pool table.
Right. I don't know.
I kind of get it. I mean, I would want it.
I would want the pool table. But, I guess if you're the boss and you told your underling to do something and he didn't do it. Because here I'm like, oh, well, Steve getting fired should be the reward.
Yeah.
But no, that's not. Because that's just a thing you wanted done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So he wants a little extra.
So there's got to be a little more icing.
Yeah.
So they put in the pool table, which Drew's not happy about.
Drew's like, that's my dad's pool table. I don't want to get rid of it. I'll give you a night with Nikki. Nikki's like, okay. And
Nikki's weirdly into it. Yeah. She's like, fuck you, I'm into it. But yeah, no, he wants the pool table. So they go to the showroom floor.
Yeah, Drew has a stopwatch. I guess it's going to be, he has to identify, I guess there's like maybe 8 or 10 women dressed as men or men dressed as women.
There's 4 women down on the floor.
My bad.
There's 4 men dressed as women down on the floor. Wick has to find one of them in 1 minute. And he starts once
And
the
Drew has a
stopwatch
stopwatch.
goes.
Yep.
He starts by I would say lightly sexually harassing women.
Yeah, he just lightly goes over to this woman that was clearly a shopper there and just grabs her
grabbing her
clothes and then
skin.
her face.
She's too smooth, can't be
yeah,
her.
pushes her out of the way.
The most egregious one, I think, is
The
when
most egregious
he there's a woman in a skirt at the checkout line, and he takes a small mirror and slides it under, and he's like, let's look for a banana, and slides it under her dress. And she turns around and just slaps him in the fucking face. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, oh, wow. All right.
Yeah. But
this is the guy that not owns the store,
he
but is in
manages
charge
store.
of the store.
Yeah, this is the big boss. He thinks he'll be able to get them to reveal themselves by bending down and showing his big ass. I think.
Yeah,
he says,
he's like, who's gonna stare? And he drops some keys and bends over.
Yeah. Just again, just crazy dated stuff, man.
No one
loves
looked.
it.
Audience loves
Also,
it. No one looked.
Drew has a great line though, where he's like, "What are you looking at, Carey?" And he goes, "Oh, nothing, just the brains behind this store." And then the cherry on all of this is he thinks he's finally found one of the men.
Yeah, Dionne Warwick walks in, and she. The audience obviously knows who she is. She starts feeling her. Apparently, he thinks that that's like a common.
Trope, of men trying to dress
as
like
women. They trying to look like her. I don't know what that because she has short hair.
Yeah, I don't know, or because she's an icon. It seems like I don't know if that's just a recent thing. She's reached icon status
for
She's been
sure.
that for a while. I don't know, but yeah, no.
Anyway.
So he starts going. He's like, "Let's have a look," and he reaches his hand down by her crotch through her
and trying
jacket.
to rip her jacket open.
Yeah. And then a security guard comes up and is like,
she's taking it very well, by the way.
She takes it all like a champ. She's like,
she takes it all like a celebrity making a cameo in this weird sitcom.
It's almost like she was ready to plug an album. That's how well she takes it.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's a moment where Drew then goes like, "Oh, well, what do you think, Mrs. Warwick?" And she goes, "Oh, it's a great experience. Everybody really cares for you." While Wick's got his hand across her.
Yeah.
So a minute lets up and he can't find it. And I think after the embarrassment and defeat of that one, he's like, "All right, he can keep his job."
Yeah, keep his job.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's how we kind of resolve that. He does ask Drew if that blonde woman over there, she's clearly not, and he goes, "No, that's a man." So. Maybe Mr. Wick just needs to come to terms with his preferences.
Yeah. Clearly, I don't know. Maybe not clear. Mr. Wick just maybe needs to embrace some of those deeper feelings it seems he has.
Do we think it's more because it's the 90s
Maybe he's a
or
little
because
closeted.
he's British? That he can't come to terms with it. What's the real hurdle
Or he's
there?
wealthy. He's a wealthy
that's
Brit.
True. Wealthy
That's
Brit in the 90s.
Yeah, that's probably not a very understanding family. You probably have a pretty tight-knit bloodline there.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We go to the last scene, credit scene. They're in the backyard. It's just a nice meeting between
Drew and his brother.
Yeah. And they just are kind of, hey, I'm glad I didn't lose you. And then Drew's brother's like, thank you, man. And he was talking to his pool table, I guess. So they just kind of have they reconcile here that like, oh, I'm glad we could kind of get you to keep your job and everything.
And we get one more prank from Steve. Lewis walks out. Lewis is going on a date. He's like, he fell asleep on the couch watching football, but he's got a date tonight and he's meeting the date's parents. And he's saying all of this while he is fully done up in makeup and earrings and looking beautiful, if I may say. So Steve is like, tells Drew before he comes out, hey, man, keep a straight face. We gotta, pull this one. And then, he walks on out. And then the credits scene.
The reveal here for me was less the prank, but I was just like, Lewis is dating?
Oh yeah.
When the fuck is Lewis dating?
Well, we know that Lewis
hasn't had a girlfriend since season 1.
No, but it wasn't the Warsaw episode. He's like flirting with women at the bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a ladies' man.
Man on the prowl.
Yeah. And then the credits scene is we're back in Oswald's pickup truck. He's driving Lewis to his date, and a bunch of different times we think he's going to tell him, and no, he doesn't tell him. Lewis walks on in dressed like that.
That's it.
Yeah. What a weird couple of episodes here.
Yeah, Drew Carey just flashes of city council and fights for his right to undress at the bar, and
then his brother's dressing up.
His brother's
like
a cross-dresser, and everyone loses their shit.
And now that he did keep the job, though, it's going to obviously be recurring. Like,
I wonder, so I assume this is just going to be a thing.
Yeah, Steve Carey we see until seasons 3 through season 9. He's in 73 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually he loses his job. I don't know. Like, I don't see a reason why they couldn't obviously have him just continue to work there as the crossdresser. I guess I'm just like, look, clearly politics at the time were different, and they were making a big fuss out of like this in the episode, which was obviously touching on maybe some feeling that society had about crossdressers at the time.
Yeah.
In which case it would be crazy, maybe not crazy these days, but then to have him always be cross-dressing in every episode that he's in for the rest of the series, make it like that prominent of a thing. Now, they don't necessarily have to show him at work ever, but I wonder how they'll handle that, because that would be really interesting if that becomes a huge part.
He says that he does it for confidence, right? So I'm wondering what other situations does he do it in.
Yeah.
I also wonder, as it goes on, how, we said some of these seem dated, and I think problematic is maybe. I'm just wondering how it's going to age as we continue through.
Yeah, is it going to
2002
continue to age poorly?
Yeah,
I feel like we were touching on much less of these topics,
social issues
early on.
Yeah.
And and we were getting a little goofy, but I don't know. Because you figure as it goes into the 2000s, maybe it'll get a little more open-minded. Maybe this is it getting open-minded.
Yeah.
Even doing it. Yeah. But I don't know.
Something tells me this isn't going to do for cross-dressers what Will and Grace did for the gay community. I don't think Joe Biden was like, I saw the Drew Carey show.
Steve from the
I'm
Drew
also,
Carey show,
just from a plot perspective, curious to see how Steve, Stephanie, and Mimi interact. What that's because at some point it will have to happen.
Yeah.
That the woman who does makeup like that runs into the man who does makeup like an all-star.
Yeah.
And what's going to be the tension there?
Or maybe they become best friends.
That would be fun. That would be actually the best case
That would be
scenario.
great. It
drives Drew insane.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Well, those were those
that's
episodes.
all we got, guys.
We're gonna see something in the future, I'm sure. Watch it just be the rest of the season. Is where we're going with this. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram. We're at instagram.com/Cleveland Rocks Podcast. You can email us, clevelandrockspodcast@gmail.com. We teased it on the last one, but we do have a YouTube channel forthcoming. Hang tight on that if you hate listening to this on a podcast app and want a
you
YouTube
just want to watch.
Yeah. A version of it.
A version of it on YouTube.
We're going to have something coming in the future. And I think that's it. Yeah.
That's all we got, guys.
Catch you in the next one.
Later.